Welcome, guys, to the virtual roundtable. This is a place where we come together to encourage, empower, and to shift mindsets in order to provoke change. I'm your host, Lady K, and it's definitely a blessing to be here. I'm thankful to have each and every one of you all here. I love to open us up in prayer. So if you give me a minute, I'm going to do that. God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for each and every person that has gathered here today. We thank you for life, health, and strength, giving us use and activity of all of our limbs this morning, allowing us to grace another day that we've never seen before. We ask you to bless right now, touch someone's heart, God. Let something be said that will give someone inspiration and give them what they need when they came here. And we give you praise, we give you honor, we give you glory that is due unto your name, Jesus. Amen. And welcome everyone that's coming on. Welcome. See a lot of familiar faces, see some new faces. Someone asked me last week about donating to the virtual roundtable. I'm actually in the process of getting that set up, but my Cash App is on the my other icon, $ Kaya Loud One. So if you would like to be a blessing to the roundtable, I will not stop you. Definitely appreciate everything that you give in advance. Welcome everyone that's coming on. So last week we talked about, I had a young lady, Miss Stacy Spears, on here, and she talked about mind over money. She gave an intro to Onyonomics, which is her program. And her program is basically a financial literacy program. And the whole gist of the program is talking about discipline. So I created this flyer for this week. And if you remember the flyer at the bottom, it had two pictures. And the top picture had discipline on it, and it had some other little small words on it. And then up behind that picture was a picture of a desert. I don't know if you all pulled that out. And those are the two things that I want to deal with. I want to talk about a desert season, a wilderness season. I want to talk about discipline as well. It's an interactive platform. You've never been on here before, so definitely feel free to jump in. If you have anything that you want to say, any value that you want to add, please feel free. So I love to start off with questions. And my first question is, the topic is, are you comfortable being uncomfortable? You know, a lot of times we hear that and we don't really take it into our spirits. Are we really comfortable being uncomfortable? Are we supposed to be uncomfortable through life, or are we supposed to be comfortable or uncomfortable? And I want to dig into that. And right now, my first question is, where are you in life? How comfortable are you? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I want to hear from you. I know I love interaction. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you as of today? How comfortable are you? And I'm talking about just with life, with everything that you have going on. How comfortable are you? Scale of 1 to 10.
I feel like you're setting us up. I feel like there's a setup. Like if we say one thing, that you're gonna come around the back door and get us. But
why would you say that, sis?
I feel it in my inners.
Wow.
In some areas of life, I would have to say that I am a 10 in my comfort area, which is not all, I know it's not always good, but then in other areas, I'm like at a 2, like, oh my gosh, I'm not comfortable at all. I need everything to kind of level itself out. So, I guess if you average that out overall, maybe I'm a 5 in the comfort level, looking at my whole life overall. But I just feel like you're going to do something to me for that.
So let me ask you this while you're unmuted. Do you feel goodness. It's interesting how you just took that equation and took it somewhere and you gave an average. But what I want to know is, you said that the rest of your life is a 2. Would you say that that's a place of uncomfort?
Oh, yeah. Definitely a place of discomfort.
Would you say that that's a bad thing?
I would not say it's a bad thing. I would be honest and say I don't always like it, because one of the things my husband said when we first got married was I'm a robot. And so I like at 6 o'clock every day to do the same thing. I like at 9 o'clock every day to do the same thing. I like to I like to iron on the same day at the same time
Wow.
every week. Like that's how I would like to live my life. But God doesn't always necessarily let me live it like that.
Right.
And I understand that, okay, I have to accept that. But no, I don't necessarily like being uncomfortable, but I know it's needful.
That's good. Good. Hey, you did well on that. I appreciate that. It was a good setup for me. So I want to talk about this desert season that we in. And I think everybody has gone through a desert season. And if I had to ask another question, it would be, have you been in a wilderness season in your life? Or are you going through a wilderness season right now? Can anyone answer that for me? I love questions. I like to get people interactive. A lot of people like to hide behind their little icons and stuff, but I want to talk this evening. Can someone else answer that? Have you been through a desert season, or are you going through one right now? And would you like to briefly share that with us? Your desert season, or some people call it a wilderness season.
Ms. Kaya, what exactly do you mean? I'm not clear on the desert season or the wilderness season. I'm not clear on what that is.
A wilderness season, a season that is, as Terrell was saying a few minutes ago, an uncomfortable season, an uncomfortable place in your life. And I'm gonna dig into it a little bit more. But yeah, have you been in an uncomfortable place, or are you going through something right now? You may be going through, something in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be with your family. It could be something on your job. Just an uncomfortable place. Does that clear it up?
I can say that I'm doing in a desert season. If you look at, I'm looking a little rough, a lot of rough. But I was complacent, and so I've been talking with my brother, and I was realizing that this when you grow, it's discomfort. So it takes us out of our comfort zone. So lately I've created my own business, and I'm starting to get things lined up. And I was noticing that when I started operating and coming out of my comfort zone, where I had got to where I was comfort, I started growing. Just like when your feet grow. If you wear a size 8 and it grows 3 inches, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's not gonna fit. So I've been trying to stay in the same spot for the longest.
Mama.
So I stepped out on faith and started lining things up and getting my LLC. And as I'm growing, I'm noticing that I really just been just existing. And in my existing, it's because I was comfortable. That's just like I've gained weight. So I didn't notice I was gaining weight because I was wearing the same clothes and I was just sitting here just not doing what I'm supposed to do. And then when I really just started noticing oh man, I'm hurting. Oh, this is happening, this is happening. And I was like, that's how I had got comfortable. And so now that I'm growing, I'm trying to lose the weight and I'm trying to do better. I'm not gonna say try. I'm doing better. So it's like the growth. I'm not. I'm kind of scared, but you know what? That's all part about being discomfortable because I'm growing. I know I'm growing. So I landed a contract today that I had to have $100,000 book of business, and I didn't have it. But it was the discomfort and me being consistent with the confidence that I had. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to come out of my wilderness place and stop being so comfortable. That makes sense.
That was good, Aaron. Hey, when you come through, you always come through dropping gems. I love it. I love it. That's good. Recognizing that first off for yourself. No one has to tell you that. Victoria, I saw you at unmuted, but I have a question for you. When you're in your wilderness season, what is your thought pattern? What are you thinking in your wilderness season?
How I got in it and how do I get out?
That's good.
how did I get in it? You don't realize, like Miss Thomas said, you live your life in a zombie or robot state to where you just don't realize the path that you're going down. But then when you get to a point, and let's just say you walk into a wall, it opens your eyes to make you realize, okay, how did I get here in the first place? And then the next thing you think of is, how do I get out? And a lot of times you be turning, looking for different people that you think that have your back, but you realize that you end up being on this journey by yourself. And sometimes that's difficult.
That's good. That's good. Y'all blessing me already today. A lot of times we discredit our wilderness season. Would you all agree? You know, we don't really give credit to it. We look at it as it's a bad thing. Like she just said, you're trying to figure out how in the world did I get here? Where are the people that were there with me before I got in it? You know, you just kind of asking yourself all those questions. But in actuality, that is a very powerful place. It's a pivotal place. It's a place where it pivots you to your next season of growth, your next season of favor, your next season of advancement. And we have to start treating our wilderness seasons as such. God put us in different places because you know what? He wants to get our attention. He wants us to move to the next place, but he wants to show us what's inside of us. If you never get in that wilderness season, you'll never really understand the seeds that have been planted inside of you. And I'm going to tell a few stories about my life in a few minutes. A lot of times when I looked up wilderness, I wanted to understand what was that. And what I came up with, it said a neglected or abandoned area it was talking about a town. It said of a town, but of course we're talking about us as individuals. A position of disfavor, right? A place that you think is very unfavorable, that I shouldn't even be here. As Torella said, why in the world, how did I get here? What wrong move did I make to really push me into this place? The next one says uncultivated, uninhabited, or inhospitable region. These are areas that are very unfamiliar, areas that I didn't know anything about this area. I don't think I did anything wrong to get to this area, but I'm here. It's out of the norm. It's nothing that we're used to. We're used to going on our daily life. Like Charles said, we go through and she liked things done in a specific order, the same way every day, same time. So basically that sounds like somebody with OCD. We talk about it all the time. She said she got a tap of OCD. They love things in order. Don't put my water bottle over here. Don't touch that. I don't want you moving. I got it here for a specific reason. I know where it is. I got this paper here for a specific reason. And we don't want to come out of our comfort zone. But listen, and I know you all have heard it, outside of our comfort zone is where growth begins. So if you're comfortable right now in what you're doing, you have to really ask yourself, am I growing? Have I reached my fullest potential? If I haven't reached my fullest potential, then I have to place myself in a place where I can grow. If not, I have to allow myself to allow God to put me in a place. Because sometimes God tries to push us in a place where he wants us to go. And we be like, no, I'm going to stay over here because I'm comfortable. This is familiar to me. I've been doing this, and pretty much we're staying on this hamster wheel that we've been on forever. But I dare you to step into your wilderness season. That's where you're going to really see growth and improvement from. So I had this experience, I think about 3 years ago, about 3 years ago. I was in a church since I got to Atlanta, and I've been here raising this church ministry. Listen, I thank God for my foundation. My foundation is what has really made me who I am today. So I thank God for not discrediting it at all. But I got to a place where there was a craving inside of me that wanted more. I wanted more beyond that. I knew that God had given me a measure of gifts, and these gifts weren't all being utilized where I was. So I began to pray and talk to him, and he gave me confirmation 3 times that it was time to go. So he took me on this journey, and I call this journey my wilderness season. What happened in that season when he took me, where I said, okay, God, my first time since I was born, I guess, being separated from this ministry. So it was very unfamiliar. I didn't know what to expect, didn't know, what was going on. It was a little small, place. I was used to the people, used to the pattern and everything. And God said, there's more to me. There are higher heights and there's deeper depth. So he began to take me to different churches, taking me on. It's like I was on a little scavenger hunt. And I went to this specific church, and one thing I got active in this church, and it was very small amounts of time. After that, he took me to another church, and I'm not going to get into details of each one of them, but took me to another church. And then I went to another one. I ended up, the last one was about 4. Last one was Bishop Bronner Church, a big mega church. I had never, been a part of a mega church, but when I got there was a sense of comfort for me, and God began to tell me when I was in the service, he said, look to the left or the right of you. And I did. He said, you don't know these people. You don't understand what they're here for. He said, when you come to my presence, you come and you get what you need from me. You don't worry about nobody else. What he was doing during that period of going to this place, that place, him taking me there, he was filtering me. A lot of times we're so stuck into something and we're so used to something, we're just accustomed to that. We're not used to different things, and we won't open ourselves up for something different. So he said, I got to filter you, because where I'm taking you, you can't be biased. You can't just have this one track mind, because if you do, when it comes to your ministry, winning souls for Christ, you're going to run a lot of people away because you don't understand how other people think. Everybody wasn't raised the same way that you was raised. So I got to show you different ways and show you that it's okay. These people are over here. They praise me, this specific way. They may do this, and it's okay. And what he told me was, in every house, talking about church, he said, every house, there's a different order. Just like if you join a fraternity or sorority or something, they have a specific order of the way that they do things, right? Any kind of organization that you're in, there's a specific order in the way that they do things. He said, so it's the same thing. Each organization have their different order. Learn the order. And there's somewhere in the word it says, when in Rome, do as the Romans. So he had to filter me. And I understand why now. I'm thankful that I was filtered. I ended up going back to the church that I was at, and I said, okay. And it was because I missed my people. I missed them, missed family. It was just familiar, You remember in Genesis, God had to separate Abraham from his family. He wanted to do something in his life. He said, I need to get you away so that I can bless you. And I can just imagine that he wanted to get him away because there were some leeches around. There were some people that were going to be talking stuff, just all kinds of, there were going to be some distractions, some detour. So he said, let me pull you away from your people so I can really give you the blessings and put the favor over your life that I have laid in store for you. I went back, I said, all right, I'm going to stay a year. And when I went back, everything was the same. Nothing had changed, no growth. Just everything was the same. And I found myself, and I hope this is blessing someone, it's blessing me, but I found myself falling back into that same pattern, right? Sometimes God pull us out of a wilderness place, whether it's some type of job, connected with the wrong individual in a relationship, something, that's unfavorable, that where we're not supposed to be. He took me out of that place, and he said, I got something better for you. But because of our emotions, we're emotional beings, we end up going back to that place. When I see you, Terrell, when I went back, a year had passed. We were coming up on the pandemic, about a year and 3 months. And God reminded me, you said, I heard it as clear that he said, you said a year. And I looked up, I had lost track of time. Again, when we go back into these places where we're used to, you can lose track of time because you're just unaware that I'm stuck in pattern. I'm stuck in on this hamster wheel, and I can't get off. So he pulled me away then, and he took me somewhere else, at which I'm there now. I understand now. When he took me back, I could see clearer. The things that I saw when I was there, I couldn't see them at first. But when I stepped out and then I looked back and I went back, my eyes were open. Remember, because I had been filtered. I had been to other places. If you don't have anything to compare where you've been to, if you don't have anything to compare it to, then all you're going to see is what you've seen. Terrell, I'm going to let you come in right here. No, you good? Okay. Definitely let me know when you're ready. Where I am now, I'm at another place. And when I went to this place, another church, went to this church, it seemed very unfavorable. It was very unfamiliar. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to get into all the details on that, but and that's all I can say was, oh Lord, and that's from the head down. And I'm like, oh my God, this is very unfamiliar. This is very unorthodox. This is not what I know. I don't know if this is the place, but God said, no, you got to learn to bloom and blossom where you're planted. So this place, I'd never been in a place like this before, but he said, you got to grow here. This is where I want you to grow. Remember, every seed that grows has to be put in dirt, right? I'm telling you, I hope this is helping somebody. It has to be put in dirt. You got to go through something. You have to go through that wilderness season in order for you to blossom and be what you need to be. What happens in this wilderness season? Where I'm at, I'm growing in my music. I'm a singer, and this gift, I've been singing for years, but it's being groomed a little bit more, being on this praise team. I'd never been this way before. So I understand now, like, wow, it was purposeful that I come to the place that I'm at. So the feelings of discomfort that I felt, I'm learning to adjust to those. They're becoming, and I'm not going to even say common, but they're coming. I process them different. Let me put it like that. I process them different because I see my growth. You're growing when nobody has to tell you you're growing. When you can look at yourself and see that you're growing, that's when you truly know that you're growing. What happens in this uncomfortable place if you tune in? Does anyone have anything right there? So I want to go to this. What happens in this uncomfortable place? If you tune in, you will begin to hear clearer, right? You'll begin to hear God speak. A lot of times we're in the shuffle and buffle of life, everything going on in our familiarity. Our TV is on, our radio is on, the kids are talking, the husband is in your ear, the wife is nagging in your ear, the boss is sending emails, Facebook is on, you're on Instagram, you ticking and talking, you're on Snapchat. We everywhere and we're so busy, right? So I can't hear. So God said, I need to pull you to this wilderness place so you can hear my voice, because a lot of times we used to hear God's voice, but now sometimes you go through different periods and you understand that I don't even hear God's voice. I've heard some people say that I don't even hear God's voice anymore. And then you get to a place and be like, I don't even remember how his voice sounds, So if you tune in this wilderness place, you can hear clearer. The next thing, you can see clearer. Now, remember, I left, he pulled me out of where I was at first and I went back. When I went back, my vision it was as if I had an awakening. It was as if the scales had come down from my eyes and I could really look and see what was off. I could see what was wrong. I could see, not being judgmental, but using the spirit of discernment. And God gave us that, use your spirit of discernment so that you can really see what you're a part of, so you can see if what the individuals are doing lines up with what I said in my word. That's very important. We have to make sure that we're moving in the will and in the way of God. If it's not in his word, then you have to question it. Is it really from God? Or is it just something here that's deterring me, blocking me, is filling up space? You can see clearer. I could definitely see clearer. And that's something we don't ask for. When you pray and ask God for discernment. You want to know what's going on your job? You feel like your job is a wilderness place? Pray and ask God to, God, heighten my spirit of discernment so that I can see what I'm missing. Because evidently it's something that you're supposed to be showing me here. Yes, ma'am. Brittany, go ahead.
Oh, you speaking right tonight, sis. I had to tell you that But you got to be careful what you pray and ask God for, because I
Yes.
was very intentional. Excuse me. I was very intentional with a prayer that I prayed, and it was a few months ago. And a portion of the prayer that I prayed was, Lord, I was just tired of all the mess. And I said, if you just remove anybody that is not here to help me grow to be a better Brittany and get to the next level and be closer to you. And it was like people started dropping off left and right. Family members, your friends you've been friends with for 20 years, people just started dropping off. And, you have to be careful for that. And it hurts, because when you don't have your foundation, and I'm speaking for me, when you don't have your foundation in Christ and you have it in other people, like my family was my foundation, right? And you think that you be good with that because, oh, that's your family. But my family was my foundation instead of Christ. And so when my family started, breaking apart and leaving, that was devastating to me. So in this time, I am going through wilderness now. However, I realized that in order for me to get to the next level and for be who God wants me to be, anybody that's not going to be for the upbuilding of his kingdom and that is not going to help me grow and not be a yes person, tell me about myself sometimes. That's the type of people that I want to be, around me, because I want to be better and I don't want to be the same that I was. And God is the center. And I'm glad, I'm glad for that. So I just wanted to share that you talking right tonight. So thank you for that.
Well, yeah, you hitting the nail on the head. Boy, you hitting the nail on the head. I too have been there as well. And one thing that I had to learn, that this is a journey that you have to walk alone. And just because I say alone, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are by yourself, but it's a journey that you definitely have to start on your own, at least for me, because I had to make up my mind that, okay, I'm ready. And once you say that you're ready, that just opens up the doors for everything that's already in alignment for you to slowly start revealing itself to you. But you have to be ready. The starting line is always there. And you might get sidetracked sometimes with, okay, your progress is going to stop for a minute because now you got to do this or you got to take care of that. But the starting line is always there. So always come back to the starting line. And it's not, sometimes you're going to have to start all the way over. But sometimes you're going to go back to the starting line and you're going to be able to pick up where you left off. But it's a journey that you have to do on your own. Your teachers are everywhere and they come in every size, shape, and form. It could be a bird, it could be a dog, it could be your neighbor, it could be a child. And to me, what I've experienced is that the lessons come to you, in the most unorthodox, unthought of ways, because you all of a sudden get a thought, you know what, let me go to Barnes & Noble today. Yeah, you need to go to Barnes & Noble because you've been wanting to buy that book or buy whatever it is from Barnes & Noble. That's all a part of the process, but you also just have to trust it. You really do have to trust it. And that trust is going to make you feel uncomfortable sometimes, which what was helpful for me was I had to figure out what faith meant to me. And once I figured out what faith meant to me, I can't just trust it when things are going good. I have to trust it when things are uncomfortable too. And yeah, it's scary to walk it. It's scary to walk it, but I remember my faith. And it's not a sometime faith. It's either I have faith or I don't. That's simply it. Either I have faith or I don't. And like I said, the situations have been pretty scary sometimes or pretty uncomfortable sometimes. But I just fall back on my faith and I'm ready to walk it. Whatever it is, I'm ready to walk it. Yes, it did cause a lot of people to drop out of my life. And I'm neither happy nor sad about that. It just is what it is. That's for me. It just is what it is. I'm ready. That's all that I can say. And for me, once I say I'm ready, I'm showing up and I'm ready for whatever is coming. I know I'm not doing this journey by myself because I got God right there with me. That's all that I can ask for. That's what it has been for me so far. And I'm walking on spaghetti legs sometimes, but I'm walking. I'm crawling sometimes, but I'm moving. I'm moving. So don't tap out. Go ahead and get started. Don't tap out ever. Now, that's never an option because that's when you fail yourself. when you tap out. So that's never an option to tap out. You can say that, okay, I got to stop for a minute because I got a headache. I got this. I got to go out of town. You can stop for a minute, but don't ever tap out. Thank you for letting me share.
Yes, ma'am. That's good. That's good. Keep moving. She said, I'm here for it all. Keep moving. Aaron, go ahead.
Just to piggyback off of what she was saying, we also have to be careful on like who the one that's in our lives. You know, we think back about to Jacob in Genesis, and he was wrestling with the angel, and we get to a point where we'll start, and even like in our witness, we'll start kind of believing what people have said about us. We'll start relating to what they have to our conditions, like in the Bible, we talk about the woman of the issue of blood. She was known by her condition and not who she were. And by so long, we'll start believing that, pushing us into that point of to be comfortable. Like with Jacob, when he said, "Who are you?" and he said, "I am who they say I am." And he wrestled with the angel until he came afflicted. So we have to be careful on who is speaking into our lives. When we in our spots, when we're not growing. I had posted something on Facebook where we were talking about the song off of Encanto, where it was saying we don't talk about Bruno. When we have a gift and we don't understand and we haven't been listening to God, we can be confused on it. He had a gift and he was operating the gift but wasn't understanding it. He wasn't knowing who he was. So he put himself in a wilderness place. He didn't leave where he left. In the Word of God, he even talks about how a prophet is considered to be dishonored in his own home, in his own homeland, in his hometown. So we have to be careful not to let those people that we have in our lives to put us in that spot to where we start believing that. And when we get in that, when our wilderness space you're speaking of, we have to start listening to God, like you said. We have to put off all the distractions. I had got to a point where, hey, it might seem simple to y'all, but I had to cut sugar out of my whole life. It was like, it was a distraction to me. That was my distraction. So when I started cutting the sugar out, it was like, I could think better. I can start seeing things a lot clearer. It was like, you know what? You want to start operating in a whole nother different type of way. You got to move differently. So it was like, with that being said, it's not who y'all call me to be. It's not who I'm thinking it is to be, but I have to operate in my ownness. Does that make sense? But I have to also ask God to make sure that I understand my gift, understand where I am, to make sure that I can grow, to be able to handle the growth in that same thing.
Thank you, sir. That's good. Are you comfortable being uncomfortable is the topic for you all that came in late. And they all kind of pushed me to my next place. What happens in your uncomfortable place? You are forced to pray. One thing we don't realize, most of the things that we're dealing with are spiritual. That's why it's so hard to find a natural solution for them, because they are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? There is things that God is trying to do in our life. When he have you in this place, he knows that there's no one else around you that can resolve the equation. No one else around that can give you an answer unless he directs them to do it. So he brings us to this wilderness place so we can really trust and depend on him, so we can really build that intimate relationship with him, really get down on our face and really cry to him and say, God, I don't know what's going on in my life. I don't know where you have me, but God, show me what I'm supposed to be learning here. I know you're trying to teach me something, because he in that wilderness place, he's trying to grow us up. You know, he's trying to help us to mature in certain areas of our life. And if you realize that sometimes we'll keep going around and coming around to the same thing that we've been struggling with until we realize that, you know what, this is something God is trying to show me. So it's a spiritual thing. The next thing, in this uncomfortable place, your survival skills are activated. What's on the inside of you now begins to come up, because you put someone out in the desert. I could take any one of you on here, put you out in the desert by yourself, you're going to think about, and just leave you there, you're going to think about everything your mama taught you, everything grandma showed you. You're going to try to figure out, I still got to eat. And I know all this food running around out here. I may not have killed none, but hey, I'm from the country and we kill animals. I'm going to figure it out, so those survival things will begin to kick in, and after a while, you'll be done created you a campfire. You've been found enough sticks to create you some kind of little tent or something to sleep in. You'll be eating good. You'll be done find you some water from somewhere. You create something out of nothing. So your survival skills kick in at this place because I got Jesus here. He's with me. I'm leaning on him. I'm trusting and I'm depending on him. And I'm trusting that, and I'm moving in faith, trusting that he's going to give me the insight on what to do next. I look at life as a big maze, a big scavenger hunt. And when I get to one place in life, I realize that there's a next place. But at this place here, you got to get everything you need right here. So the place I'm at, I said the wilderness place, I got to get everything I need. Now that I can see clear, I see the things that I need. So the situation, looking at it on the outside, it doesn't look like a place that I should be in. At first, it didn't look like that. But when I really get down in the inside of it, I understand that inside of here is treasures that I can grab and put in my book sack, and they're going to help me to grow. That's what happens in that wilderness season. We got to grab those jewels, those gems, those treasures, because they're going to help you on the next place in your journey. I look at life also as a 1,000-piece puzzle. For me, doing a 1,000-piece puzzle, they have all the little small pieces. That's kind of therapeutic for me, to figure it out. And I usually figure it out because I come up with a technique on how to figure that out. But you got to realize there's a certain piece of a puzzle that only fits with another piece. It don't fit with every piece on that board, right? So we got to make sure that we're collecting the things that we need and we're putting this puzzle together as we're moving through life. The next thing, survival skills are activated. So one thing I ask God is, God, what are you trying to teach me? I know I'm here for a specific reason. A lot of times we just stay in our situation. We don't ask God, and that's why we stay there too long, because we don't consult with the main one and say, God, show me what you're trying to show me in this season. What do you want me to get out of this season? Who do you want me to talk to? Who needs to talk to me? Who do I need to open up to? Who am I blocking out that I need to be in tune with? We have to start asking those questions, so that we can get the things that we need to get. It'll help you go on quicker when you understand, when I get in a place, this is a test. And the thing about a test, if you don't pass these tests in life, they're going to come back around again, right? So why not pass it the first time? When you get older and you mature a little bit more spiritually, as you go, things begin to come easy. You begin to look at them a different way when they first start. When they first come in, you say, okay, I know this is a test. Let me go on and get the nuggets I'm supposed to get out of here so I can get up out of here. I don't want to stay here forever. Maybe he's trying to teach me patience. Maybe he's trying to teach me how to bridle my tongue. Let me get this real quick, so I don't have to keep going back over and over this again, because it don't feel good in this uncomfortable place. This wilderness experience, it don't make my flesh feel good, but it's for the betterment, for the making of me. The next thing, have I settled in my spirit to operate outside of my norm? A lot of times we don't settle in our spirit. We're just like, oh my God, I'm here. I don't know why they're doing this to me. I don't know what's going on. Settle in your spirit. God has me here for a specific reason. And because he has me here, let me really tune out all that extra stuff. Because that stuff that, oh my God, just anxiety, that's a distraction. When you get to the place and say, you know what, let me just sit back, you will begin to see, right? And now I can say, okay, I know that this is an unfamiliar place, but let me look around and observe what's going on. And when you begin to look, it's a scripture that says, when you seek, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be open, right? So we have to start putting these scriptures into play. We got to stop just quoting scriptures, and we got to start living these scriptures. They have to become a part of us. So in that survival place, that's when we begin to birth all of these things that are inside of us. You done heard mama and them quote scriptures forever, but all of a sudden now you're in this wilderness season. Now I understand where this scripture fits at. I understand what it means now because it's relevant to what I'm going through right now. Discipline. I want to talk a little bit about discipline. Am I okay with something that is going to push me in another direction? Right? Aaron was talking about, gaining weight and if I want to lose weight, and I'm talking about myself, if I want to lose weight, I have to get discipline in that area, right? A lot of times we try to bring discipline on too many areas of our life at one time. And one thing about it, if I'm trying to bring, and for me, I can't multitask. I used to think I could multitask. I would hear people say, oh, I can multitask. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write a little bit here. I'm going to have this. I got all my papers laid out here. One thing I found out is when I start multitasking, nothing gets done. Why? Because I got too many irons in the fire. And it took me a while to realize that I had too many irons in the fire. I have to focus on one thing. So one of my goals for this year was to get in the gym, to get healthier. I don't want to be 40 something and have diabetes. I don't want to have high blood pressure because that's what's running through my family on both sides, right? So I have control over that. And I told you all before, when you go to the doctor, one thing they ask you about is your parents. What did your parents have? And they ask you that because they know 9 times out of 10, if your parents was eating fatback and hog maws and all of this extra stuff, the chitlins and all of that stuff that we love so dearly, if we continue to eat like that, we're going to end up with the same thing. So they already have it wrote down on your list. She's going to have high blood pressure. We're going to get this metformin money out of her for you all that know about sugar. We're going to get all of this money out of her because she's not going to change her habits. So that's self-evaluation, self-awareness. I have to be aware that if I want discipline in this area, if I want to lose weight, I got to get in that gym consistently. I have to eat regularly, eat normal, eat the things that I know is healthy for my body. Terrell, I see your hand.
I was just going to comment on the piece that you said about multitasking, because I used to feel like I was this person that could multitask, but in all honesty, it was not effective. And so I searched the scripture and I ain't found one place where Jesus multitasked. When the woman with the issue of blood touched the hem of his garment, he stopped what he did. He was not still trying to press forward and go over here and do all of this. He stopped to see about her, and then he pressed on for what he had to do. When he needed some time away to pray, he went away to pray, whatever it was. And so we so many times are saying, oh, we got to multitask. We are allowing the mind of the world to kind of dictate what we need to be doing. Jesus is our example, and I have not found where he multitasks. So sis, I'm with you. I don't multitask. I might be working on one thing right now and then finish that and then work on something else. But I ain't doing 6 and 7 things at one time. I don't believe that's scriptural. Just like rest. People tell you, oh no, you don't need that much sleep. Terrell needs sleep. So the Lord slept when he needed to sleep. He prayed when he needed to pray. He ate when he needed to eat. And Terrell gonna do the same thing. So we got to be careful not to allow. The Bible says, be not conformed to this world. They want to multitask. I ain't multitasking because that's not what Jesus did.
That's good. That's good. I love it. You gotta know what is good for you, know what you're supposed to be doing. A couple of people touched on this a few minutes ago. My next thing, and I won't be before you long, but the next thing, what about my friends? Remember, we're in this wilderness place, and in this wilderness place, you're gonna shed off some things and some people. There's a saying that said, I think I heard somebody that was in AA, they said, one thing they tell you is if you want to change from being an alcoholic, you have to change the people, places, and things that you're around. And I think that goes so well with different parts of our life, especially a wilderness place. You go into this wilderness place, you got to know that when I come out, I look at the wilderness place as the stock market. What goes up must come down. So if you know anything about the stock market and just, watching the movements of it, you understand it goes up and then sometimes it'll drop down. It has sharp drops. It has slow drops. But one thing about it, you're going to get into that low place. And when you get into that low place in life, that means that, like I said, it's a pivotal place. You're going back up, but you got to think about it. When I go back up, who's going back up with me? You know, who is supposed to go back up with me? Because everybody is not designed to go to the mountaintop with me. When I was in Prime America, there's a saying I said a few weeks ago. The guy used to say, I see y'all at the top because the bottom is too crowded. And he was basically saying, it's too many folks at the bottom already. People are comfortable down here at the bottom. I'm going to the top, and you can very well go with me, but you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to change what you're doing. So we have to look at this valley season, this wilderness place as a beautiful place. When we start looking at it differently, it will start treating us differently, right? Don't look at it as a bad place. Like, oh my God, this is happening. No, God, thank you for allowing me to be here. Now let me get what I'm supposed to get out of this place, because I know it's something I'm supposed to learn here. I know it's somebody I'm supposed to meet here. Maybe it's an individual that you have placed here, strategically placed here specifically for me. Their job only. I was talking to somebody today. I don't remember who it was, and we were talking about, they said somebody had come into their life and then all of a sudden they had left, but whatever they came into their life for, they came and gave them something. And I said, do you realize that this person's objective, their assignment was only to come give you whatever they gave you. And when they gave it to you, God moved them on out of the way. Don't mean that they were a bad person. It don't mean that you were a bad person, but they fulfilled their assignment. So we have to learn to accept people as that, understand, you know what? I understand you were here. I can't get attached to you because this is your only, assignment for my life. My bills are due and I don't have the money. That's an uncomfortable place, right? And I think we all have been there. But one thing about that wilderness place, it brings on accountability, right? You got a bill and it's due. The first thing you do is look back on the month, the month up until then and say, okay, where did I spend unnecessary money at? I stopped at QT too many times. I got coffee every day. I got chips every day when I could have went to Sam's or somewhere, and stocked up on that stuff and had it at the house and saved money. So this is where my bill money is. We have to start holding ourselves accountable, because a lot of times when you go through life, the people around you, they don't hold us accountable as they should. They should, but a lot of times they don't. So I can't depend on them all the time. Yeah, I want people in my circle that are going to hold me accountable, but I can't depend on them all the time to be there for me when I need them on that wise. So I have to start holding myself accountable. I have to start looking at my life and see, I may be in this wilderness season because maybe I put my own self in this wilderness season. Wilderness is not always, just something going on with my body or, me being misplaced. It could be all kinds of different things. It could just, like I said, be something out of line. Staying outside of your comfort zone is where our growth begins. That's what I said earlier. So do you want to grow is the question. How comfortable are you willing, how uncomfortable, are you willing to be? And that's a question that I want us to leave here with today. Am I really ready to be uncomfortable? I say I want to grow. I say I want 2022 to be the best year of my life. So how uncomfortable am I willing to be? Am I willing to really tighten up on my budget so that I can have more money left over so that I can do more? Am I willing to sacrifice now so that I can have that dream trip that I planned, that I want to do next year? Am I willing to make those sacrifices? Discipline. What areas of your life are you willing to get uncomfortable in order to grow and improve? I want one person to answer that. What area of your life are you, as of now, what are you willing to get uncomfortable in order for you to grow? Anyone? Aaron, go ahead. I see you. You can make it short, sweet, and to the point. What area are you willing? You brought up some stuff a few minutes ago. What area are you willing to get uncomfortable in your life in order for you to move to the next level, in order for you to accomplish that goal that you have before you?
Let me think about that.
Okay. Anyone else? You say you want to think about it? Hey, Amy, what'd you say?
I said I can go while he think.
Go on.
Good evening, everyone. I can speak on this because this is currently where I'm at. I'm actually in the wilderness in my mess, in the sense of I have been decluttering and detoxing my living space. And I'm having to let go of things that I didn't even realize that I had in my midst that was keeping me in bondage in different areas of my life. Because I would take it and just push it to the back of the closet or, back of the cabinet or something like that. So parting with items. Yeah.
That's good.
And you'll be surprised.
That's good.
You will be surprised. The littlest thing that may seem irrelevant to one person has actually caused a large impact in your life.
That's so good. I'm in the process of packing up some things, and I got to one thing, and this thing had sentimental value to me, and I had to make the decision whether I was going to keep it or whether I was going to let it go. Now, me keeping it really wasn't going to amount to anything, but me letting it go was me letting go of it. It was kind of like it was an attachment, an emotional attachment, right? It kept me attached to someone. So I said, you know what? The memories are gonna always be there. Memories can't be erased. They'll always be there. So I don't have a need to take this with me. So I had to make that decision. Listen, get rid of this. You don't really need this. You can get something else when you get where you're going. So I definitely understand what you're talking about, Amy. Keisha, go ahead.
I gotta say procrastination. I'm ready to let that go. I have to say procrastination. That's it for me, procrastination.
That's good. She's willing to let go of procrastination. And that takes work because I think we all procrastinate. I think I do it a little bit every day, but I'm working on it. It's so hard because it's easy for us to get comfortable. And then I said all the time, social media helps us out with that because when I don't feel like doing something I want to do, all I have to do is pick my phone up and start scrolling. I can go to any, app that I want to, start scrolling, start liking, start sharing, start posting pictures, just all of that. So it helps out. So definitely you have to be intentional about that. Aaron, I see you.
Well, for me, I know that I'm gonna have to my inconsistency. I have got consistent at being inconsistent. And I really have to I got to let it go. I mean, because I'm making moves and it's not going to help me in.
Getting ready to close down, but my next thing is, do you need an accountability partner? A lot of times people need accountability partners. Do anyone on here, do you need an accountability partner? Because there may be someone else on here that's willing to be your accountability partner. You can raise your hand if so. It's good to have that because you need someone around that's gonna check in on you, say, okay, did you do what you said you was gonna do? Are you working to accomplish your goal? Did you get up today and make this move? Did you make this phone call today? Not micromanaging, but just holding you accountable for what you said you were going to do. And are you utilizing, last question, are you utilizing the resources and the connections in those people and things that are in the wilderness season? Remember, in the wilderness season, you come across a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of places, but am I really utilizing the resources that are there? That's a question I want to leave with. Does anyone have anything they want to say? Listen, I'm done, but I want to hear from you all before we get off of here. I see some new faces on here, and we definitely would love to hear from you all if you want to. And I see y'all in the chat box talking about chewing and walking and all of that. They're talking about this multitasking. Does anyone want to share that multitasking thing? Or we're going to leave that in the chat box? We're going to leave it in there, Torella?
We were just they were trying to find a scripture where Jesus was multitasking. That's all.
Did y'all find it?
they think that the scripture where he says, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. However, my reply was that the goal was to enter not into temptation. It wasn't that you were doing multiple things. And so I pointed out that when we're eating, we're chewing and swallowing, but we're really only doing one thing, which is eating. And so we're just having a laugh. That's all.
That was cute. Some people can't walk and chew gum. You know, some people can't multitask. That's good for them. Guys, it does. Thank you all for coming to the roundtable. Does anyone else have anything they want to say? I really enjoyed it this evening, and I pray that something was said that help you to get into your uncomfortable place, but help you to be comfortable in your uncomfortable place. Because remember, you're growing. You may not can see growth, but you are growing. That's just like a parent have their child right there with them, and that you know that child is growing, but you can't really see it until grandma that hadn't been around for about 6 months come around and say, "Oh my God, look how tall you've got," and then it just dawned on you as a parent, like, "Wow, my child really is growing," you know, because you're in right there with them. You can't really see that. So growth is not always a big thing. Growth is small, but we have to be open and willing to welcome it by any means necessary. Summer Payne, welcome.
Hey, I couldn't let the day go by without saying something. But thank you. I know I came in late, but it's truly a blessing to hear what you said today. You know, living in Arizona, of course, I was very upset coming back to the desert. I didn't understand why God had brought me back to the desert, but I later found out it was for my purpose in ministry and to give back and find a new career goal. I went to Grambling for one thing and ended up finding a whole different career. So, you know, it's sometimes you think that you're coming back and you're mad that you got to go back to where you started. But, you know, as I live, your setback is just set up for your comeback. So all through life, I continue to have some setbacks, but it always end up being a comeback. So just blessing today.
Yes, ma'am. And that's what I was saying. We have to use that wilderness season as a pivotal place. So when you get into your wilderness season again, when things don't look good, when they're unfavorable, when you feel like you can't make it, use it as a pivotal place and know that you're coming up and you're coming out of that. But I have to get what I'm supposed to get while I'm in this place. It may not be a long period, or it may be a long period, but let me get what I'm supposed to get so that I can take whatever is in that place to the next location. Anyone have anything that they want to say? I definitely appreciate you all for coming here. If you all have never been here before, welcome. We're here every Monday night at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. We always have a biblical edge. We're just a group of individuals that come together to shift mindsets in order to provoke change. We come to encourage, we come to empower. We have real life conversations with real people about real life issues. So welcome. Thank you for coming. And I hope to see you all again. I like to close us in prayer. Does anyone have any prayer requests today? If not, let's go before the throne. And again, there are some people that ask me about donating. If you would like to donate, my Cash App is on my other screen. It's Kaya Lyles 1. I'll be changing that soon to my nonprofit, but it's there if you would like to donate to the virtual roundtable to help it to grow. We definitely would appreciate it. Remember, in June, I'm giving away a scholarship, a financial literacy scholarship. Miss Spears came last week, and she was giving us the intro to financial literacy. So I'm going to bless a couple of people with that. If you're interested in that, we will be doing interviews. So if you're interested in this financial literacy course that she's given, reach out to me and I will give you the ins and outs of it. All right, God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to come together once again. I thank you for every person that's here. God, for the new people that's here, for the ones that will watch it later on. God, bless them in a special way and let them hide this in their heart, God, and go and begin to grow in their uncomfortable place, God. Send your peace, your angels to encamp around each and every person here, God. And even the people that they're attached to, their children, as they go into the school system, God, keep your hedge of protection around them. Keep your hand on them right now. We'll be so careful to give you praise, honor, and glory, God. We rebuke every spirit of COVID for each person that's here, God, and those that are spread abroad, God. We ask you to protect us, keep us from being in harm's way, and we'll be so careful to give you praise, honor, and glory. If there's any sin among us, God, forgive us right now. And we thank you in advance. Cover us in your shed blood and hide us behind your cross is our prayer. And we'll be so careful to give your name praise, honor, and glory that is due. Amen. Guys, remember, I love you all, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Y'all take care. Be blessed. I'll see you next Monday.